Good evening, Laker Nation, as in Laker fans on the Lakers Fast Break, not Laker Nation, the show. It's a Laker Nation, right? I want to apologize first and foremost for being late. Nightcap was supposed to be tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Unfortunately, folks, the party didn't stop when I thought it would stop. So I had to continue the party. And the company was new, so I wasn't able to kind of get away like I normally do when it's my usual peeps. But again, I want to apologize for the delay. I'll plan my nights a little bit better next time. So, with that, let's get down to business here. We had again, thanks guys. I appreciate you guys understanding. It's been a very, very, very good sports day, at least for me being an LA fan. Dodgers won today 4-1. Lakers obviously took Cleveland out here today, and then of course we had some good Final Four games that went on, and it's looking like UConn's about to go back to back here on Monday, and my alma mater, the San Diego State University the Aztecs, looks like they're going to lose to the champs again. Now I'm hoping at some point before I die that I see my team win, but these Power Five teams, man, they never seem to lose when it matters and in the title game. So I'm going to roll with UConn to go back to back here. Yeah, Rafael Yamamoto was he struggled a little bit at the beginning. Had a couple of bases loaded deals, although the second one wasn't really his fault. Muncy had an error that he probably should have gotten, but it was it was a hard hit, so it kind of could go both ways. But once he got out of those ruts, he settled down and pitched beautifully, and the Dodgers got key hits when they needed him for a win. They've lost 3 games, and all 3 games were kind of, could have gone either way. So I'm pretty happy with the results so far here. 10 games into the season, 7-3 will work. If they win 7 games for every 10 games they play, I think the Dodgers will be in good shape to get the first seed again. Hopefully this time they go all the way and win a World Series. It's going to be Purdue and UConn, Xbox. And UConn, they were tight at the beginning with Alabama, and then they ended up separating in the second half pretty extensively. And wasn't anything you couldn't see. You could just feel it. All it took was one little spark, and they ended up going out. I think they won by 16 in the end there. But let's talk about the Lakers today. For those of you who weren't on the post game with John and Sean is supposed to be here. Hopefully he didn't fall asleep, but if he's not here, then that's my fault. He was ready to go at 8:00. But the Lakers looked really, 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 really good today, minus that little area where they ended up letting Cleveland back into the game. Cleveland took a 4-point lead, but as soon as that happened, the Lakers went on a 19-0 run, and they never looked back. Lakers win 116-97 against a formidable East team in Cleveland. I think the Lakers either were fortuitous or played really well. Depends on how you look at it. Obviously, I think the Lakers did their job playing solid defense the whole game and making shots when they needed to, especially D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell just came out the gates with all the firepower, and then I think dropping 23 points in the first quarter, and then LeBron and AD took care of the rest. But they held Mobley, they held Allen, and they held Mitchell to 8, 10, and 12. I think when you can do that, especially with the amount of time they played, I think that's going to get you in a good position to win. And they won by 19, so they won, again, in command. AD had 22 points, 13 rebounds, 6 blocks, 3 steals. I mean, it looked like a Scottie Pippen line, just every spot had a number. 6 blocks, 3 steals, 4 assists, 13 rebounds, 22 points. Rui and Reeves didn't have good scoring nights, but they did enough to be threats, I guess. Reeves didn't have a really good game at all. Actually, he was making some really bad turnovers. But D'Angelo Russell took care of business, and of course, LeBron James doing his thing, getting 24 points, 12 assists, and 5 rebounds. Didn't shoot a lot of threes today, but was pretty good from the floor in general. And maybe you can say Tayshaun Prince had his best day as a Laker? He was a plus 26 today and seemed like he couldn't miss. He was 4 or 5 from the 3-point line, and he only played 21 minutes to score 18 points. That's as efficient as you can get. So Torian Prince, please keep this going, buddy. Keep it going. And if you're gonna at least give us a couple of games per series like this, I think we've got a good setup going there if you can make it work. AR forgot how to shoot a three. Again, sometimes some of these guys will end up hitting the wall. Lakers have been traveling everywhere here this last few weeks, so maybe it caught up with Austin. Maybe he had a fun night out last night, kind of like how I had a good night tonight and couldn't recover. These are professional athletes. I know they're supposed to be prepared, but some of them do things that aren't conventional and it ends up costing them during the game. But the important part here, guys, is LeBron James and AD are supposed to do what they're supposed to do game in and game out. That's what they're paid to do. That's why they're future Hall of Famers. Everyone else, if one role player isn't going to pick up the slack, then I'd like to see someone else pick it up, and so on and so on. And I think the Lakers have a good balance there. But they've also had, at least the starting lineup has, they've been pretty consistent in being double-digit scorers and being very, very productive. It's just when the bench can be productive, someone like Tayshaun Prince dropping 18 and 21 points, you have that, and it's impossible to beat this team when the starters are on running on all cylinders. He caught up with Taylor behind Travis's back. Are you talking about LeBron Xbox on that block that LeBron had? That was vintage LeBron. It's probably one of the prettiest plays he does is that out of nowhere block on defense, because it's always a scene. It's always this next level play that just kind of kills the opposition. Austin Reeves, Joe. Oh yeah. Now I know. Yeah. I remember that one too. Yeah. No. Look, guys. If you can't do anything on offense, it will rely on your defense a little bit. But then again, I'm not expecting Austin to stop someone like Garland or Donovan Mitchell, but it kind of worked out that way. I think the Lakers, other than that small little spurt in the third, played as consistent and as well as you could. And they didn't seem like they spent a lot of energy too, which is extremely important. Tomorrow night's game is going to be very, very interesting. It's if the Lakers win tomorrow, there is a very good chance they could run the table. Tomorrow's game is the one that I'm kind of I don't really know where it's going to go. Do you think the Lakers' belief level had been growing stronger over the last 10 games since not only they are winning but playing well and they can see a real? Absolutely, Robert. I don't see how it hasn't. This is their execution and their winning is a big part of that is their confidence. And Anthony Davis, when he's doing what he's doing, and LeBron has the kind of energy he has or he's had, that just inspires the team. It inspires the team, and maybe they're talking a little bit more on the court to where they're all in better positions in transitions, on defense, during pick and rolls. Darvin Ham doesn't seem to be making the mistakes he was making at the beginning of the year. I think he's rolling with what's working, rolling. It's okay for a coach to take some shots or chances at some lineups and it not work. I don't mind if the coach does that. Sometimes you can get lucky. So I'll give you an example of having it work out. So in the fourth, the Lakers come back, right? And after that 4-point deficit out of nowhere that Cleveland came in and got, then the Lakers went on a 19-0 run, and then they closed out the third quarter, like usual at the end of quarters, with the other team scoring in the last seconds. So they're down 12 with Cleveland having a little bit of momentum going into the fourth. Well, he sat Anthony Davis for about 5.5 minutes, and the Lakers pretty much sustained the lead. That right there, those type of things, you have to kind of sometimes give it a shot to see if it works. In this case, it worked brilliantly because what ended up happening was AD came back in with a 10-point lead, but then the first series he had, it was right back to 12. So essentially what happened in that sequence is the first half of the fourth, They were up 12 going into the fourth, and in that instance, with AD coming back after a really long rest period, they ended up being up by 12 within seconds when he checked in. That right there, guys, those are details that you want to pay attention to. Those are the details that win games consistently, and keep your teams fresh. So the Lakers did a brilliant job playing well while the star or stars were sitting. And that's some of the stuff that's got me excited about what's going on. Those are the little things that I pay attention to that get me excited, because winning, you can win games ugly sometimes, especially if it's against bad teams. If you're winning back-to-back games on the road, you're winning back-to-back games against formidable teams, those things mean something. And right now, the Lakers are not only winning, but they're putting some meaning behind these wins, and it's creating more and more confidence, so that that realistic path to get to the 7th and 8th seed becomes a reality. There is no doubt in my book at this point that should the Lakers win out, they are going to get a 7th seed. I am assured of it. If they go 3-1 the rest of the way, I'm sorry. Yes, 3-1. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3-1 the rest of the way. Let's say they'll probably get an 8 seed. I'd say a 3-1 finish the last 4 games. I think they can get the 8. If they finish 4-0, I'm assured that they'll get the 7th at that point. And then there's a small chance if the Clippers can do us a favor and drop Phoenix in the 2 games they play Phoenix, so we can get that 6th seed, then things will definitely get. We're talking, the confidence level will be even higher than it is right now. If they're able to establish a 6th seed after all that's happened, guarantee themselves a playoff spot, likely playing either Minnesota or Oklahoma City, because Denver won tonight, which means they're now in first place. It can play out in 3 ways, and we're going to find out here in a week where it goes, and it's exciting to see. What's up? Another late night lesson by Ox. Yes, this there. It's a Saturday, guys, and I wanted to get. And anytime there's an early game, I want to get Nightcap in that middle ground, which is 8 to 10, or 8, preferably, so that in case some of my East Coast people here in the United States can watch if they're if they don't want to sleep too late. But unfortunately, I was out for dinner with some friends, and things got taken a little bit longer than I thought. People that I didn't know as well, so I didn't want to be that guy. Go, sorry guys, I gotta peace out. It's nice knowing you. It always looks bad, especially when it's people that you don't know. I had a good time too. Usually when I meet strangers, I don't usually have that kind of fun, but we had fun tonight. So kudos to Rob and Shauna. I know you guys don't know them, but we had a good time with them tonight, eating at my cousin's restaurant in Menifee called Savage Chef. For those of you who are in the area or planning on coming to the area, make sure you visit. Give me a call, and I'll have my cousin set up a nice private booth for you guys. So again, we're in a very good shape here as far as the Lakers are, and of course Laker fans. If the Lakers can win tomorrow, that's the one, man. That's the one. I know the Golden State Warrior game it's got more pizzazz because it's Steph versus LeBron, but I think the Lakers might smoke the Warriors at home. I feel really, really confident, especially if they win tomorrow, because they're gonna know, they're gonna smell it, they're gonna feel it, and it's a done deal. It's a done deal. Then you got to face Memphis, and then a Brandon Ingramless likely New Orleans team to finish off the season. I feel pretty comfortable that the Lakers can finish off Memphis and New Orleans to hopefully solidify at least a 7 after that particular game. Tom's big and frustrated. We shouldn't be in this position. Xbox, it's easy to keep getting frustrated about this, but it's over. What's done is done. You're right. If they had just won a few of those games that they kind of punted. They'll probably never admit to that, by the way. But if they had just won those games, then yeah, we would be sitting at really choosing between 5 and 4 at that point. But I'm not going to think about it. Let's go get the 6 and hope that we get some help. That's kind of my mindset now. If not, get the 7. Maybe you'll face Sacramento without 2 of their young guns, and then you kind of inflict some revenge on Sacramento and get into the playoffs with even more momentum at that point. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. True that. Absolutely. That is an old saying that never runs out. I've drank Xbox. I had my nightcap before I got onto the show, and I'm a little buzzed right now. And I don't know if I want to keep drinking. I guess if Intel shows up and starts throwing prizes at me, maybe I might have to go get a shot glass and some alcohol. But I prefer to enjoy how I feel right now. Yes, I am a little buzzed. I had one of my cousin's signature drinks called the Savage Cowboy. It's got Jameson in it, some little ice and some water and some other things that make the drink taste amazingly good. I can usually drop down at least 4 or 5 of those in an evening. Didn't have as much tonight. I think I had 2 of them, but they loaded those things up pretty well, so I've been feeling pretty good. Yeah, I haven't seen Intel since he dropped that request. It's almost like he dropped the request. I let him down, and now he's mad at me. No, I'm just kidding. He's not mad at me. Again, guys, it's some of these shows are late, so I can't expect everyone to be invested in it, especially on the East Coast here in the United States. But I'll do my best to try to work around the best schedule possible. However it kind of materializes, the season's about to end here, but I am going to figure out better scheduling during the summer when the season's over, and make it more attainable, more easy, or I should say easier for everyone and that's everywhere in watching this at its best time. Yeah, Savage Chavo is good. Xbox. I'll get the. I know it's Jameson. I know it's on the rocks. I forgot what other mix is in it. I'll get the. I'll get that particular drink recipe, and I'll let you all know what it is, so that you guys can ask for it when you guys. It's a special drink by my cousin's restaurant, but it can be made as long as you have the ingredients, and it's really really good. So tomorrow, uh, tomorrow we're looking at Carl Anthony Towns not being available, but you got Anthony Edwards and you got Gobert and you got a team that is playing for something. So the Lakers are going to have to understand. They definitely understand that there's going to be some resistance here, and they're going to have to match. I don't know if the word matching it. They're going to have to go above and beyond like they have been, and I feel pretty confident that they will. It's weird because the Lakers were sitting last in the Pacific standings for practically the entire year, and right now they're sitting in third. And I know that doesn't mean much in the NBA anymore, winning the divisions or placing high in the divisions. But I just thought it was interesting how they've just been last almost 80%, 85% of the year, and then now they're already 2 spots up just here within the last few weeks. So I'm going to say the key to the win tomorrow, Lakers need to continue to play the way they've been playing. And one thing I've noticed in playing Minnesota is when they let Mike Conley go off, that's when the Lakers really struggle. So Ant-Man, let's say, is going to get his. Gobert doesn't necessarily scare anybody in terms of offensive prowess, especially with the way AD is playing right now. I think I feel pretty comfortable with AD containing him to some degree. But if Mike Conley starts hitting threes left and right and not missing, that's going to be a problem for this team. So they got to neutralize the perimeter shooting. Naz Reid, best backup center in the NBA, arguably. Make sure that you kind of keep him at bay. He was shooting the ball pretty well the last time they played Minnesota. We still won, but the Lakers got to play tighter defense and make sure that the guards don't overwhelm them. I hope the Indian Loose later on today. Laker will take that number 7 spot like they did last year. Purdue and UConn. Yes, AR has hit 4 out of the last 30 3-pointers, but he can get it back. We can be sometimes those slumps happen, man. It's just what it is. Use that LeBron. I think the Lakers have 3 players that are in the top 20 from 3. So you have LeBron, you have Rui, and you have D'Angelo Russell. Lakers have shot, from my memory, I think this is the best year the Lakers have shot the ball. And maybe not by percentages, but by feel at the very least. Uh, since the 2008 Laker team. I thought that was the most potent Laker team offensively of the Pau Kobe era. It's unfortunate we couldn't finish it off with a title, but that was the best offense I had seen in LA ever in my time. What's up, Petty, my cat? It's been a while, man. Good to have you here. Yeah, we almost lost when all the we lost it there. Joshua, I'm back and forth on whether we would prefer to see the Denver Nuggets early or later. My instincts tell me we want to see them later. What was kind of keeping me at bay with that was, do we want a more tired AD and LeBron that late playing Denver? That was a thought in my head. Would they be more scared? Would they be more tentative? Would LeBron and AD be more fresh in that first series? My instincts say no. I have a very strong feeling that the Denver Nuggets will turn it on and end up bouncing the Lakers out in the first round. And other than that, anyone else, I have full confidence that the Lakers have the ability to upset anyone after that. Let's let them keep building this confidence and this momentum. Maybe Taurean Prince, maybe Spencer Dinwiddie can continue to get better and better. And then when we're really, really solidified, maybe we get lucky and have Vanderbilt come back and really contribute. Same thing with Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent played some good defense tonight. Hey, that's kind of, again, see how it plays out at that point. You don't lose your skill, you lose your athleticism. I was balling at 42. Yeah, I'm still balling. I still ball now. Not as much as I wish I could, but I still ball. Yeah, man, I moved to Texas. Been busy recently. Yeah, man, it's I'm in that season right now, PMC, where my business is off. Like even today we worked and we had estimates that we had to make before the day was over, and then I have to put in estimates tomorrow. I also have some tax stuff that I got to do. So yeah, owning a business will overwhelm me, and I've been trying to find the right person to come work with me. Unfortunately, I still can't find them. And the last one I was trying to find, I had experience in the industry. So I was like, oh, cool. Maybe this might be the one. Unfortunately, most people seem to struggle getting business. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what they're doing all day. I don't know if it's distractions or what, but it doesn't seem like they're able to focus on they talk the game, but they can't execute the game. And that's standard, it seems like, in the business world. If we can sweep rounds 1 and 2, we can get rest. Oh, man. Lakers 60. Look, I'm not going to go that way. I'm not going to go there. I would say you're probably playing 6 games in each round should they win. Very similar to kind of how they played the series out last year against Memphis and Golden State. What they did was they stole game 1 against Memphis and then won all their home games. And then they stole game 1 in San Francisco and then won all their home games. I think that's a more realistic setup, unless somebody major gets hurt. If Anthony Edwards gets hurt, if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets hurt, if like those teams are likely the ones that the Lakers will play if they are, let's say, a 7 or a 6. Because I really think Denver's going to end up with the 1. Then let's just say they do face Denver. Let's use that as an example. They would, let's say Jamal Murray wasn't available. Then there's not a chance of a sweep. I still think Denver can win a playoff game, but now that becomes scary for Denver with a fresh team with confidence and knowing that one of their pains in the rear ends that always jacks them at the end of the games with clutch shooting won't be available. What's the plan to find another Joe Soro to run the show? Oh boy. Petty my cat. Uh, I'm sorry to say this, and I don't say this with any arrogance. I don't think there'll ever be anyone like me in my world. Uh, I operate on a different level, and I'm talking about guys I grew up with, guys that I've known for 35 years, guys that I've known for 25 years, guys that I've known for 20, 10, and 5. Uh, there's an energy, I think, here that not a lot of people can match. And also, there's a personality, and also, there's an execution. Just not a lot of people can handle working all day, partying, and then doing a talk show at the same time. People usually are burnt out by the time they work, let alone go out. If you hang out a lot of mid 40 type people, women or men, they brag a lot. They brag a lot about how useless and pathetic they are. Now, that sounds harsh, right? But I never understood why people would post things saying, I in my 20s I was ready to go out. In my 30s I was thinking about going out. In my 40s I just have fun sitting at home and watching TV." Uh, I never understood the bragging of that. Why are you bragging that you live a miserable, boring ass life, sitting at home watching TV? You can sit home and watch TV anytime you want. Go out on Saturday nights. Go out with some friends. Have a good time. Go to a club. Go to a restaurant. Go somewhere. Do something. I have friends that are in Japan right now. You know, are they? They're not, and they're not the ones that are sitting around going, "Oh, people ask me to go here, but I just rather sit home and hang out with my dog." I'm just like, use your imagination, man. You only live once. Do everything. Do everything until you pass out. That's what I do every single night. I mean, almost every single night, I pass out sleep. Some nights, I don't even remember sleeping. But no matter what, I'm passing out sleeping. I have a bunch of stuff going on. I have things that always are lined up. But when it comes to letting the body just, it's like a snap. But a lot of that too is because you're out doing stuff, enjoying life, enjoying experiences. That's what we're doing here. Why we're here, in my opinion. Enjoy life. Use that time that you have where you can walk, think, and talk. Use it for something where you can enjoy and have memories and be around people you like. Be with family, be with friends, so they remember you. You remember them, and then when your time is up, hey, you did everything you could. The perfect storm. So you were listening the other night, huh, Darren? Today's post game show was great. Yes, I was very, very happy with how John hosted the show. This was the first time he hosted the post game, and he did a phenomenal job. And we're going to have to do that continuously. And of course, Sean coming back to the post game. I've been talking to Sean here off and on for the last few weeks. He's been busy with his schedule, and but he was ready to kind of ease back in here, and we love having him back here to talk shop, because I think right now there's some exciting stuff that's about to happen. I think there's a good shot that the Lakers could make a run here when I didn't think they could, and we're going to be here to obviously enjoy it with all our energy here. Let's see, 6 seed is out of reach. You know what, Jay? You might be right. You might be right. But I also thought about a week ago, I thought Sacramento was a no-go just because we were behind them 3 games in the loss column, and then they own the tiebreaker. So it was really 4. So now their records are tied. Now Sacramento loses one more game, which I think they will, and the Lakers went out. It's a moot point. And if Phoenix continues to win, then I'm feeling very confident that the Lakers are going to get the 7. They're going to get the 7. And the reason why I think it's important to get the 7, at least for me, is not because I don't think they could beat the Sacramento Kings on the road. I'm worried about facing Denver. And if they get the 8 seed, which I don't think they actually can. If they're an 8 and they win, then I think they get the 7. Somebody correct me on that. I don't know why I don't know these stupid rules. I got to make sure I study this a little bit better. But if they win, I believe that if they win the 7-8 play-in game, they get the 7th seed, and then whoever they beat ends up having to play the winner of the 9 and 10. So, and then they will get the 8 seed. So I think that's I think that's how it works. Yes. So the Lakers, I think, are destined to get the 7 one way or the other. If they get the 7 one way or the other, then that's just what it's got to be. The the hope is 6 so that they don't have to play the extra game. That's what we're trying to avoid. The extra game, the extra perspiration. Maybe somebody could get hurt in that game. Hey, what's up, Alan? How you doing, brother? We don't want to take that chance if we don't have to. The Lakers, should they play in a play-in, let's say a 1-game play-in, are already playing 2 more games than they're supposed to during an 82-game season because they had to play the title game in the tournament, and then this would be another game. And of course, if they end up staying at 9, that means they got to play 3 extra games during the year when they're already pretty taxed. But I don't think that's going to happen. I really believe the Lakers are going to get the 8 seed one way or the other, and then there's a really good shot at a 7, especially if they win the remaining 4 games. I'm lost with the brackets. I don't think you're the only one, Frank. I don't play the brackets. It's too much of a. It's like trying to get the double zeros on the roulette table. I'm not gonna sit there and lose thousands of dollars though and wait for that to happen. And it's actually worse than that. It's like picking the lottery. I just don't really care for it. I sit and I can watch the games, enjoy them as much as I can. That's enough for me. That's enough for me. I think it's a waste of time. It's fun to play, to see if you can win, but I don't know. I don't. That's not for me. The Kings lose once and the Suns lose twice, and we win out. Then we are the 6th seed. Correct, Search. Correct. That is true. It's a lot to ask. It is a lot to ask, but I think Phoenix is formidable. I think Phoenix will likely not do that. That's what my instincts tell me. I do see Sacramento losing at least one more game. Looking at their schedule, I'm going to pull it up here real quick. So we are looking at, let's see here. Where are we? The Kings. So the Kings, where are we here? Usually they show the schedule here. Sorry, everyone. Let me get the schedule here. So here's the interesting part, ladies and gentlemen. The Kings are playing the Nets, the Thunder, the Pelicans, the Suns, and the Trailblazers. So the teams that we're trying to get ahead of are going to lose because a lot of them are playing each other. So the Kings, let's say, beat the Nets and they lose to the Thunder. Then we can cheer on the Kings to beat the Suns after that. They end the season with the Trailblazers, but they're going to eat each other at this point. That's kind of how it's playing out. So the Nets, Thunder, Pelicans. The Nets is a win. I can see a win. I know it's in Brooklyn. I think they should win that. The last game of the year is the Trailblazers. But in between that, they're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder on what is it? Sunday, Monday, on Tuesday. Then they got to fly back home and play the Pelicans on a back-to-back and the Suns. That's going to be a tough truck. That could be very interesting. Looking at the Suns schedule, let's see here. The Suns are playing the Pelicans, the Clippers twice, the Kings, and the Timberwolves. I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of us are going to be scoreboard watching the entire day for the next week. It's going to be nonstop watching basketball, watching other basketball. Sometimes I don't watch a lot of the basketball from other teams. I'm so invested in the show. I'm so invested in the Laker time. I hardly ever get a chance to go and watch, I don't know, Miami playing Boston on TNT. It's very, very hard for me to watch more basketball when I'm spending 6 hours watching our basketball team play, and of course discussing the details of it. So the three teams right now that are ahead of us are all either going to be playing against each other or playing against really, really good teams. But tomorrow is the key. Tomorrow is going to be the key game in my eyes. The Lakers win the back end of a back-to-back against Minnesota, and then they have a few days to play Golden State. I believe the Lakers will start seeing that light at that tunnel. They're like, look, we just won back-to-back games against two good teams. We gotta beat Golden State. We're due to beat them, and then after that, it's Memphis and New Orleans. And I think New Orleans will have I think they're going to be the ones that are going to be kind of set where they're going to be at 9 or 10, likely 9, hopefully. And then maybe they'll rest Zion. I don't know. But the Lakers, I think, still take that game, even if they have everyone available. Although I don't know if Brandon Ingram will be available. So tomorrow is the critical one. Yes, Xbox. It is the critical one. They have to win tomorrow for us to see them possibly run the table. If they lose tomorrow, it kind of kills the 6 seed hope. I would say it probably kills it officially. I'm sorry, not officially, but unofficially. They could still do the 7. But then they have to win the next 3 games. So that's what we're at right now. They win tomorrow, I feel comfortable that they can win out. If they lose tomorrow, then they probably can still win out and know that, man, we just got to go get that 7 seed, get home court, do the play-in, and call it a regular season. Minnesota not the same team without Cat. I don't know about that, Sam. They're not. You're right that they're not the same team, but let's look at their record here. They've looking at their last, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Their last 12 games, they're 9-3. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know necessarily if that's true. I think they're playing pretty darn well without Cat at this point, but it will be different against the Lakers. I just don't know if it'll be different here because the Lakers did play tonight and they are still playing for a 1 seed. There might be some next level stuff. Again, they got to make sure Conley doesn't go off. When Conley goes off, that's when the Lakers really struggle because he gets off, and then of course Anthony Edwards does his thing, and Gobert. Early in the year, I know he had a really good game where they couldn't kind of stop him, but it's a 50-50 thing at this point in my head. Maybe it might change tomorrow, but we're gonna find out here. And luckily it's a home game. If it was a road game, it would have been very difficult to win that game. But I think it's a home game. I think the Lakers have, let's say, a 51% chance versus 49 to take this. And man, if they can do that, I think the Lakers are sitting in a very, very good spot to make some noise here before the regular season's over. Not the same. I think they won't be the same in the playoffs, Sam. If they don't have Karl Anthony Towns in that first round, it's definitely going to be a problem. And a lot of me thinks, I don't care if it's OKC or Minnesota, but I think the Denver thing is that's the only thing that's scary. I don't want to face Denver in the first round. My instincts tell me we don't want to do that. Thanks for the shout out there, Search. You're the man. Nas Reed always shoot the light out against us. Yeah, he wasn't shooting well before that last Minnesota game too, but they were able to neutralize Minnesota, and we won by 13. So I'm not backups are backups for a reason. Even when they get hot, I'm more worried about the Conleys, the Anthony Edwards, and the Goberts. Make sure you keep those guys doing what they do, but not too crazy, and make sure you guys, as in the the stars and make sure the role players that are hot that day are hot for 48 minutes. I want the Pelicans in the play-in. Let's see here. I'm going to look at the standings real quick. So right now, the Lakers are one game behind New Orleans. Sacramento would have to lose like 2 or 3 the rest of the way, and they could, including playing the Pelicans. If Sacramento, let's say, loses 2 more games and the Lakers only lose 1, then we would need the Pelicans to lose 2, which I think will happen. Then the Lakers would play New Orleans in the play-in, and with the Lakers having the 7 and New Orleans having the 8th. That could happen. That could happen too. Absolutely. If they play New Orleans at home, I feel pretty comfortable that they can win that. I have no doubt. Gabe's not scoring, but he's helping defensively, and it's much needed. Yes, Adam. Anything you can get from Gabe Vincent at this point is a win. Anything you get with when Vanderbilt gets back is a win. And if it's defense, thank you. Lakers held the Cavs to 97 points. You don't see a lot of below 100 points. The Lakers played really good defense today, and that might have been why. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes, even if it's not good one-on-one, but team defense and focus and trying to get the ball, sometimes that can tax certain players that are not athletic. Stone and I talked about this. It's much more difficult for those who are not as athletically talented to play 40 minutes both sides. It's just athleticism takes you to that extra area where you don't have to exude as much energy. When you're not as athletic, I'll use Austin Reeves as an example. And I don't want to make it sound like a disservice to Austin. He's athletic. He's just not athletic like LeBron is or AD, right? So he has to spend more energy to get the spots. And if he's playing both ways really, really hard, sometimes one or the other things will go in the negative. They won't. It's hard to have both at the same time. And even an elite player struggles there as well. Only guys like Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, guys like that. And I say the perimeter guys, not the centers. It's easy to play defense when you're a center like Tim Duncan or Shaq or Alonzo, because you're just sitting back and holding your ground, guarding big guys, and waiting for somebody to come to the basket so you can send the ball to the stands. But when you're a perimeter player, and that's something I used to always wonder about the Defensive Player of the Year award. I'm like, why do you guys keep giving an award to a guy who sometimes just stands there and waits for the ball to get there and rebounds? I go, wouldn't you think a Defensive Player of the Year would be someone that's really like guarding somebody, trying to get the ball from them, getting under and over screens and not letting them get separation, not letting them shoot well? I don't understand why these guys and their criteria always goes to the easiest thing. Oh, well, let's just give this award to Gobert because he's a 1 or 2 seed and he can block shots. That's a disrespect to the game. It's disrespect to the award. Give it to someone who actually has fear, absolute fear to his opponent on defense. That's how I look at this. And they've made the right call sometimes, but not enough in my book. Hey, Alice, how you doing? It's been a while since I've seen your name. No one is playing better than LA in the West, so everyone else should be worried, including Denver. Yeah, you have the right at this point to have that kind of optimism. Absolutely. However, the Lakers have lost way too many games to Denver, so it's one of those things where I always say, until I see it, I'll believe it. And right now, I'm going to worry about the Lakers beating Denver based off of how they've played against Denver here in the last 8 games. The Lakers have last 7 games. The Lakers have lost 7 straight games since the playoffs last year against Denver. It is not good. This is not good. And I know that the regular season doesn't have any effect on the playoffs, But then again, it's going to come down to opportunity, health, and focus, and of course, confidence. Can the Lakers feel confident should they face Denver in the first round? And if they were to upset Denver in the first round, how does that change the playoffs? What happens then? I'm telling you right now, everyone's going to be ready. Everyone's going to be ready and hoping for the ultimate matchup in the finals, which is the Celtics Lakers. Getting ahead of myself, but we're fans. We can sit here and say it'll happen. We don't get in trouble for it. So, hey, if you want to come out here and say, hey, Lakers are going to sweep Denver in the first round, sweep Minnesota in the second round, and then sweep the Clippers in LA in the Western Conference Finals, and then beat the Celtics in the finals, I'm going to sit here and go, okay, sure. I wouldn't mind it playing out like that. I really don't. They've given me a lot of reasons now in the last 3-4 weeks to think that they are focused and ready to make a run. Why wouldn't we? Why would I rant against that? Why would I go into the negative on that? You guys know. You guys have been here for the entire season. When I rant, I'm not ranting because I feel like I want to rant, because I don't feel good about something going on in my own head. It's always a rant towards what I believe isn't done right. They're not focused enough. They're not trying to win these games. They're not doing the plays that they're supposed to make. Their fundamentals are trash. They're not boxing out. It's all legitimate rants. And right now, they're not making those problems. And guess what? They're winning. And part of those problems, too, that I've not mentioned, Alice, thank you, is you're making your shots. And since January 1 of 2024, I feel that D'Angelo Russell is the best shooter in the NBA. By far. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. It's made a huge difference between what was before the year started and what the year was after. I mean, it's night and day, folks. Help LeBron, help AD, and you're gonna be able to make this work. LeBron-centric teams, you need two things. Two things only. Make sure you're open, because he'll find you, and make sure you hit the open shots. And the Lakers are doing both. You do that, and we're going to have some exciting games that we're going to be watching, and we're not going to be done here in 2 weeks. That's kind of what I'm dreading here, man. I don't want this to end. I want to go. I want to compete. I want these guys to go as far as they can and to go far. I don't want this to end in 4 or 5 games in the first round. It's going to be lame. I don't want that to happen. Not even as a Laker fan. Just as like, really, is they're going to go through all this 82 game season, and on top of that, you have the play-in game. I'm sorry, the in-season tournament game. Then you might have 1 or 2 games in the play-in, all for that so that you can get in for 1 week and be out. I think that's kind of depressing to me. I want the Lakers to make another run like they did last year. This time I want them to finish, get to the finals, play the Celtics, whoop their ass for number 18, and then we're going to be partying like it's 2020 times 2. Then we can have a double parade in LA, which that sounds nice, but I've gone to parades in LA, folks. It's not good. So just make sure you go by yourself. Don't go with your family and kids. Bench production with Torian was great. Yes, Kurt, that plays a huge factor. Consider his effectiveness was great. His shot making was great. More than that, his efficiency was as perfect as she could have been. 21 minutes and scored 18 points. That will get it done. That will get it done a lot. Not expecting it every night, obviously. That's not fair. But, man, if he could do that for 1 game each series, that would be huge. That means likely they win that game. And hopefully it's on the road. They can do that on the road at least once per series. I believe the Lakers have a pretty good shot at winning most of their home games, if not all of them. What about Vincent? Surely he can make – let's see. Where are we here? You guys are asking some really good questions here. Let me get to everybody here. What about Vincent? Surely he can make a shot against Denver. I don't know, Darren. I don't know. I don't know about the shooting and the scoring. We're going to have to see if he can catch his breath yet. I don't know. I think you don't want to press your luck. You don't want him to re-injure something. I'd say if his value is going to be to at least D'Angelo or to work with Austin or spell Austin and work with D'Angelo, whatever the situation is, if you feel like you got an elite guard that you have to somewhat calm down a little bit, you're not going to stop him, but calm him down, and you can't get it from D'Angelo or Austin. Well, let's see if at least Gabe Vincent can keep him somewhat respectable. I would say that the likelihood lineup is to keep D'Lo in there because his shooting is just it's too good, and then take Austin out and put him in spurts during those elite guard teams that can play 35 to 40 minutes. I think that's where Darvin Ham's going to really need to pay attention to. Really, really focus on how to set up his rotations against those players and make sure that he allocates the minutes correctly with the right guys that'll be effective as much as possible with whomever they're playing as well. The community is great, Joe. So many great questions. Yeah, Serge. I mean, this is why we have this. We have a post game, and it's great. But I think this show is really about more of a one-on-one connection. We want to have a community here too. But I some of you guys asked some good questions, and I want it to be answered. We usually can't do that on the post game. Usually, the post game, it's usually one, two, maybe three, maybe four guys. We all end up talking, and then the questions are hard to get to everyone. So this post game, this nightcap, is more for you individually, so that you guys can ask some questions and get them answered more regularly than you would on the post game. The post game is more of, again, the post game news and what's going on in our assessments, our analyzations. This is more just kind of getting together and kind of shooting the you know what and getting all the questions answered. If the Lakers get the 6th, I'll donate Lakers. That's nice of you, Jay. Appreciate that, man. I am glad we have Din Diddy because D'Lo and oh man, I think Diddy is probably the most trending word right now in the planet. Would you guys disagree or agree? Think about. Let's see what Sam's here. Think about this time next week. We will be talking about who our opponent will be in the play-in. I would really like to be a team that's talking about the 6th seed next week, and I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna think positively, and I'm gonna say that is the likelihood. How about that? I'm putting my finger down on my mouse. I'm gonna say the Lakers are gonna get the 6th seed. How about that? Let's speak it into existence, and let's make it. Let's make that cosmic, universal, whatever the hell it is, go to the Lakers, win tomorrow, and handle this unprecedented run. Well, look who decided to show.
Prom's over, baby. I'm here now.
Well, we've had a great show. I know I came in late here, but there's been some amazing questions here from the panel, and we are as positive as we can be as Laker fans at this point. And I made a prediction just now saying we're gonna be a 6th seed by this time next week. What do you think?
Whew, that's a good one. That's a hefty. Okay, I'll believe you more if they win tomorrow night.
See, and that's what we said. We said if the Lakers win tomorrow, I feel very comfortable that they're gonna run the table. Tomorrow is the hardest game in my opinion because Minnesota is still playing for something. They're playing for a 1 seed, and it's a Laker Minnesota thing. It's they could face each other in the first round. So I think setting up that whole mental thing might be in the cards for both teams.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, I think we got to go ahead and send out more flowers. These guys are just all over the place here in the chat. I will send out some real flowers. You guys touched on a little bit, but I want to give some really good big props to the defense. And one more question I have on top of it here in a second, but I want to make sure that everybody knows the defense, especially in that second half, after they were down by 4 and they went on that run, they played some pretty good some of their best lockdown defense show of this calendar year. They've been terrible on the defensive end in 2024, and they really played well as a unit, as a team. I know Austin was terrible in offense, but he really played some good defense. He's starting to play more and more often really good defense, a competitive defense, hard defense, effort on defense. It might be affecting his offensive game, but hey, it's allowing him to be more effective on the defensive end. So I give a team a lot of credit for that. But I think another individual we need to give a credit to, we've been kind of like ignoring. We touched on it about a week ago, but how much credit for this 9 out of 10 winning streak do you want to give Darvin Ham, who Doobie hates in wins and losses?
I haven't noticed any bad decisions on Darvin Ham's part for about a month now. So if you want to give him his props, you will be warranted to do it. The example I used before you got onto the show earlier was, and I wanted to make it clear because I think sometimes we're prisoners in the moment. We get emotional. We get the other team goes on a 5-6-0 run, and right away we're quick to blame the coach. We're quick to blame why aren't we really getting a timeout? Well, sometimes you have to feel out certain lineups. Sometimes you need to rest guys. So the example I used was the Lakers were down 4 points in that third when Cleveland made their run. Then they went on a 19-0 run. Then they ended up allowing Cleveland to make that last second shot before the third ended, like they normally do.
Yeah, that pissed you off.
Right? Because it seems like every freaking end of the quarter shot goes in. But then what Darvin Ham did was he didn't, and it makes you uneasy, right? Like you don't want Jackson Hayes as good as he's played this year. And he's played well for Jackson Hayes' standpoint. I've been very impressed. And he seems to be getting better too, which is great. You're kind of worried, right? Right away you get tense. Oh, or it's a 12-point lead. What if they hit a couple threes now? We gotta when put Anthony Davis in, folks, guys. Anthony Davis was a freaking menace tonight. You can't play him 45 minutes. You got to rest him too. You got to rest him at least 12 minutes a game, at least a quarter. So Darvin Ham sat AD to start the fourth for about 5.5 minutes. When he came back in, they were down. They were up 10. So they only lost 2 points from when he got out. But the first series he was in, they scored and they were up 12 with him in it. So essentially, they didn't really relinquish any lead at that point. They ended up maintaining the lead with him sitting almost an entire half quarter for rest. And guess what? If you watch how he played the remaining 6.5 minutes, it's very, very energetic. Had a lot of, just stonewall opportunities to do what he does. And Cleveland just couldn't do anything. Lakers held, after the first quarter, held the Cavs. They continued to have less and less points per quarter. They had Cleveland had 23 points in the second quarter, 22 points in the third, and 19 to finish the game. That is as good as you get, below 100 points for a team that can score, that can go off, that has talent. That means something. That does mean something.
They're starting to turn us around. I mean, that should mean something. We seemingly are always, you, me, guys like Stone, Jamie Sweet. We're always the realist. We're always the hardest on the Lakers. We're always the last ones to turn because we've seen it all before, Joe. But you know what? We're 9 out of 10. You cannot argue with that success. And again, if they finish it off and they close it out against the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow, you've got a believer. You've got a believer, I think, in all of us then, as far as where the Lakers can go to make a bigger imprint in the Western Conference. They can sneak into the 7th spot. They could even taste the 6th spot by the end of the week, like you said.
So Alice asks a really good question. AR and D'Lo are playing good defense? ? Only seen the highlights of the games recently.
AR is. I can tell you, Reeves.
AR is. Now, D'Lo is played better the last few months.
D'Lo's off the ball. He's getting a lot of
correct.
steals.
He's getting a lot of steals, and he's disrupting passing lanes. I'd say that he's done very well.
Reeves is more man on man, right on the man.
Something has changed, either mentally or Darvingham has connected with these guys in a way to where they're like, hey guys, look, as the stretch run continues, if we can just tweak this a little bit here and there, we're going to go a long way. And the results are saying yes. What are we in,
with AR,
what game are we in? What world are we in? We're about what?
Results.
Exactly.
But the thing is with AR, I do want to make sure, Joe, that people know that I think that's a reason why he's been struggling on offense, because he's putting so much of an effort on being a more acceptable defender. I think that's been the thing.
We had discussed how the lack of athleticism usually will mean more energy spent on the court. And it's hard to be focused on defense as much as he is and then still shoot well. That's why 3-and-D players are not as available or as elite as some people think that is. You'll hear the term, who's the 3-and-D guy that we can get? There's not a lot of those guys out there, folks. The best 3-and-D player of this era is Kawhi Leonard when he's right, because he can shoot and he can defend. Right now he can't, but when he was in his prime, that's the first guy that comes to my mind when it comes to elite defense and able to shoot the three, the true 3-and-D player. And I'm not here to ask anyone on this team other than LeBron and AD to do things that they can't do. It's not realistic to do that. It's just not realistic. You have as role players, what I'm asking for them to do is at least cover the holes in as far as a community of role players. If this guy is down, make sure you go up. If you're up, make sure make sure you have Taurean Prince doing what he's doing on offense when Austin's struggling. Make sure if Rui's struggling, make sure you got someone like D'Angelo who's going off in the first quarter. Because LeBron and AD, they're great players. They're future Hall of Famers. They're going to do what they do on a nightly basis. And with that, G, I know you just arrived here. If you don't have any questions, I'm getting ready here to close out unless you want to continue.
No, man, I'm all good. It's I'm actually tomorrow. Laker Tom asked me to go ahead and set out some time, so we will have Lakerholics Spotlight tomorrow, and then of course you still got the whole tomorrow night ton of stuff that we normally do, pre-game, during the game, post-game, nightcap. Yeah, so we got a busy day tomorrow, absolutely. But I want to do a baseball note since you're such a sports guy. It's funny because I just flashed to ESPN.com and my gosh, I didn't know Steven Strasburg was 35 years old. He's, they're listing him as retired, but I always thought he was just like this young guy on the way up, always got injured. I know he got that 1 year at the MVP in 2019, whatnot, but man, I thought he was always like still in his late 20s or whatnot. He's 35 already, man. That tells you where the time went, man.
Pitchers in the major leagues are starting to become 1, 2, 3 year guys. Yeah. Shane Bieber now is going to have Tommy John surgery.
How many TJs? You used to only be like one TJ and that's it. Now it's like, oh, how many TJs do you have?
Yeah, if you have Tommy John if you have a second Tommy John, the odds are very, very low that you'll be anything close to what you were. The velocity, the concentration, the labor intensiveness of the major league pitcher has gotten to the point where these guys are worse than running backs in the NFL.
Oh yeah, I agree.
They just don't last, no
4
matter
or
how much
5
they trade.
innings.
Yeah,
And
no
that's the thing,
matter.
they pitch less, Joe. In the actual on field, they pitch less. 4 or 5 innings, yet they're less durable than ever.
Because the hitters and the homework and the analytics will have pinpointed exactly how to play everyone in every phase, from every pitch to every count. And the only way a great pitcher can be great is sending talent to that catcher to where analytics can't combat it. And that usually means pitching it harder, pitching it faster with movement. You have any idea how taxing throwing a 95 mile an hour pitch is with movement? It's extremely taxing. And the arm is the one that gets taxed. And it gets taxed forever.
Shout out to The Rock, winning at the main event, night 1 for WrestleMania.
No, he was really.
Mm-hmm.
So The Rock, like most of the people in Hollywood, are doing Taco Bell commercials, Bookings.com commercials, and then Rock goes back to WrestleMania to bring back some old feelings. I find that interesting.
He looked good. I saw it actually.
Hollywood, and then of course I hear about how Hollywood's thinking about making another Matrix.
Oh yeah, that
another
I heard
John
that
Wick. What the hell are those morons doing?
Well, John Wick, I can understand it because you saw how much money you made. Matrix was absolutely awful. The last one was absolutely awful.
Look, all due respect to Keanu Reeves, the last John Wick, it looked like he couldn't move.
I think that was the idea.
He looked like what's his name? Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther during the fight scenes. He looked like he didn't know he couldn't move. And at the time, I didn't know he was sick. And I remember watching that fight with Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, come on, man, this guy's the Black Panther. He should have a little bit more intensity in these fights. And then, of course, I found out the reason why he couldn't move is because he was sick during that shooting. Tragic. Couldn't believe it. Made sense, though. But Keanu is I think he's one John Wick movie too much at this point. But no one else can replace him at this point either.
Money. It's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamins. I don't know how they're going to make Matrix successful if they make another one, but John Wick 5, I think can still, even though they kind of made it look like it would be the end of John Wick, I have a feeling that they're going to find it out somewhere and make that John Wick 5 just to cash in one last time. But your Dodgers, man, Yamamoto finally paying off with the.
Well, Yamamoto he's got to get used to the baseball in the majors. He got out of the gate a little slow. Had a couple of bases loaded situations that he did get out of. One of them wasn't really his fault. Muncy missed a ground ball. It was pretty aggressive ground ball. I'm not harping on Muncy for that. It was tough. At least he stopped it. And then once he got the strikeout there, then it was 1, 2, 3 seemed like every inning after that, and he ended up like Dodgers ended up hitting some key hits, getting some key hits with men and running in scoring position. And hey, they've lost 3 games this year, and they were almost in all those games for a win in the end, and they've won 7. And I think this is going to be the standard in the regular season. They are going to need another frontline pitcher, though. That I do know. And,
always.
Roberts really needs to understand that there are certain players right now that are not panning. Mr. Grove, Mr. Relief Pitcher Grove. It's been 3 years, folks. You know, Dodgers organization needs to start coming to grips that he's just not the guy. And then we have guys like Chris Taylor who are struggling at the plate. Outman is struggling at the plate. I know you're probably wanting them to get out of their slump, but you have viable. Well, he did make a lineup change today. Put Kiki in there, of course, right away. He got hits. Even Barnes had some really good hits, and I've been hard on him. But
That's
it's a
a good
long.
question, Kurt. Kurt's asking, do you like the addition of Teoscar?
Oh, absolutely.
I like it a lot. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that was really
absolutely.
good.
It's a 1-year contract. And what happens there when you have someone as talented as Teoscar, you have, and he's on a 1-year deal. You have all his effort that's going to go here. Everyone knows you come to the Dodgers with 1 year left on your contract, you get a big contract after that. So we're going to get the best of Teoscar. Matter of fact, I think Roberts needs to move him up in the lineup. I think they need to put him at 5 right now.
He can hit well, man. You got a 30, another 30 home run guy right there.
Move him to the 5. Don't leave him at the 6. Move him to the 5. If you want to put Will Smith to clean up, fine. Dictate who gets the cleanup spot based off of performance. And if Teoscar continues to hit the way he's hitting, then he needs to be the cleanup guy down the road if he continues to do this.
Search is so funny. He's like, now, if you want to subscribe and welcome to your Dodgers family. That's his subtle hint there. We need to get back to the Lakers or head on that.
Well, we've been talking Lakers, and again, to close out the show, the Lakers did win tonight, 116-97. They played very, very well.
I don't think he probably likes that when Jeff does that too, as far as put Dodger talk in the Laker talk.
Well, this is the nightcap. There's a little bit more freelance here. The post game was a Lakers show. This is a Lakers show as well, but we do deviate off of it. Although we did deviate a little bit off on the post game, thanks to John, and I had a really good time.
So I heard.
Yeah,
so
it was fun. It was fun. Is that what you edited? Did you edit all that out?
No, I edited parts. I made it sound less.
Well, hey, look, we were asked by the host, so
I made it less questionable for audio listeners.
Everybody liked it.
Google hasn't shut us off yet, so I guess it's all right.
Freaking Google. If we get the 6th seed, I will donate to Joe and Gerald. Well,
thank you,
Jay. We appreciate that. Thank you,
yes.
And we'll reciprocate too. By the way, guys, our plan is to reciprocate more and more as the show progresses. Again, the Lakers win tonight, 116-97, winning the first of what will be the last of the back-to-backs for the regular season, or actually any part of the season, because they don't play back-to-backs in the playoffs. Lakers are playing with a lot of vigor and a lot of moxie. Thank God. Finally hit their stride at the right moment. And for those who came in here late.
I just want to say, my apologies. Search said, at Lakers Fast Break, I found some cheap tickets for Dodger games. Can I post it? A, is it true? B, is it a misnomer? Because I didn't think cheap and Dodger tickets go together. At least now after $700 million. So you let us know.
No, they have cheap tickets. I get it, but I don't want to sit in the.
That's actually pretty good.
No, that's good, but I don't want to sit. I don't want to sit in I don't want to sit on the top tier seats on the third baseline. I don't.
Yeah, but you can always sneak down lower, man.
I don't know. I don't. Look, I usually travel by myself when I go to games, so I get tickets that are not that expensive because it's a 1-seater. So I usually can sit pretty close.
I just walk around the park and then sit wherever I want.
I can't do that. I want to watch the game. I want to be comfortable. I don't go there to eat. I don't go there to converse. I'm there to watch the game.
That's actually pretty good, though. Yeah, I'm assuming you have to be a Costco member, of course, because it's a Costco deal.
Member.
Well, not everybody. Okay,
Everyone
we have Australian. Okay, we have Filipino and Australian audience members that are probably not Costco members. They haven't gotten there yet.
A Dodger game from the Philippines.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, if you are a Costco member, there's the link right there for you. You know, if you're in the Los Angeles area and you like Costco.
If you're in the Los Angeles area, give me a call, folks. We'll get together also. I still got to take a trip to Australia at some point here in the next year or so. So we'll look out to that. We'll do a show in Australia.
That would be cool.
With all my friends out there.
You thought you and Empire Jeff were going to a game.
We will.
You only have 81 chances to do so, my friend.
We will. There'll be plenty of time to go to those games. And again, with that, going to go back to the Lakers again. 116-97 against Cleveland. First half of the back-to-back for tomorrow's game against Minnesota. Cross our fingers that the Lakers can finish this off tomorrow and likely run the table should they do it. And with all that, thank you all for again hanging with me here on a late night, impromptu sort of scheduled, then got moved up show. If you all have any comments, any questions, please email us at LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. You can hit me up on Joe Soro LFB on Twitter X. You can message me or contact me at my Instagram, SinBlades_turf, or find me on Facebook as Johnny Blade with the Punisher logo. And with that, have a great night, everyone. Gerald, thanks for coming in and finishing off with me here. Until next time, I'll see you next time.